I never thought I'd murder my own sister. But there I was, staring into the eyes of the woman who'd stolen my life, my face, my voice, my goddamn wedding day, and feeling the cold steel of resolve twist in my gut like a knife I wished I'd plunged into her heart. It started with a betrayal so deep it cracked the foundation of everything I knew, and ended with me whispering her secrets into the void, watching her empire crumble from the shadows she'd cast me into. The rain hammered the roof of our family home in suburban Chicago like it was trying to wash away the sins we'd all ignored for years. It was June 2024, the kind of sticky Midwest summer where the air clings to your skin like regret, and I was supposed to be the happiest bride-to-be in the world. My fiancé, Jake, had proposed 6 months earlier on a rooftop bar overlooking Lake Michigan, with the city lights twinkling like they'd been placed there just for us. We'd set the date for that weekend. Intimate, elegant, nothing flashy because that's how we rolled, 2 mid-level marketing execs scraping by in a one-bedroom in Wicker Park. But my parents, bless their biased hearts, had other plans. Zoe, honey, we can't miss Emily's housewarming, Mom had said over the phone, her voice dripping with that faux apologetic tone she reserved for when she was choosing favorites. Emily, my golden child sister, 3 years older and always the star. She'd just closed on a McMansion in Naperville, courtesy of her tech startup gig that had her rubbing elbows with Silicon Valley transplants infiltrating the Midwest. It's a big deal for her. First homeownership milestone. And your wedding? Well, it's not going anywhere, right? I remember freezing in the middle of our apartment kitchen, the knife I'd been using to chop onions for Jake's famous chili slipping from my fingers. Mom, it's my wedding. The one day. You promised. Dad chimed in from the background, his gruff voice muffled like he was already halfway out the door to mow the lawn or avoid the conversation. Family first, Zoe. Emily's been through hell with that divorce. We owe her this. Owe her. As if I hadn't been the one holding the family together after Dad's heart scare last year, or the one who drove Mom to every chemo appointment when Emily was too busy jetting off to conferences. But that's how it always was. Emily, the prodigy, the victim, the one who got the passes. Me? The reliable one, the afterthought. I hung up, tears mixing with the onions on the cutting board, and Jake wrapped his arms around me from behind. Hey, we'll do it without them. It'll be us, our people. Screw the drama. But the drama had already burrowed under my skin like a tick I couldn't find. That night, Emily called, unprompted, which should have been my first red flag. Sis, I'm so sorry. Mom and Dad are being idiots. Come to the housewarming anyway. We can toast to your big day early. I've got this surprise for you. Something that'll make everything right. Her voice was syrupy sweet, laced with that Midwestern politeness that hid daggers. I should have said no. God, I should have said no. But blood is thicker than suspicion, and I was desperate for some scrap of family normalcy. Fine, I muttered. What time? Saturday afternoon. And Zoe? We're something nice. Trust me. Saturday dawned gray and unforgiving. The kind of day that screams bad omen if you're paying attention. Jake had a last-minute client meeting, some ad pitch for a craft beer brand that couldn't wait, so I drove out alone, the wipers slapping rhythmically against the downpour. Emily's new place was a beige monstrosity in one of those gated communities where every lawn looked like it was auditioning for a catalog. I pulled up to the curb, my simple sundress feeling out of place amid the valets and catered trays of sliders being shuttled in. She greeted me at the door, all blonde highlights and designer jeans, pulling me into a hug that smelled like expensive vanilla candle. You made it. Come on, the party's in the basement rec room. Everyone's dying to see you. The house was a showpiece. Open-concept kitchen with quartz counters that gleamed under recessed lights, a home theater setup that probably cost more than my annual salary. Guests milled about, Emily's tech bros in slim-fit button-downs, a few of Mom and Dad's country club friends nursing IPAs. I spotted my parents across the room, laughing at something Emily's ex-husband's lawyer was saying. They waved half-heartedly, like I was an obligation they'd already checked off. Emily tugged me toward the basement stairs. Your surprise is down here. Private, just for us. The basement was unfinished, concrete floors and exposed beams, a stark contrast to the polished upstairs. A single bulb swung overhead, casting long shadows. In the corner sat a sleek black box, humming faintly like a high-end server rack. What is this? I asked, heart picking up pace. She smiled, That predatory curve to her lips I'd only seen in boardroom photos. A little something from the lab. Neural sync tech, prototype from my company. It maps memories, swaps perspectives for empathy training. But I tweaked it. For us. Before I could back away, she lunged, a syringe glinting in her hand. The prick was sharp, fire blooming in my neck. Emily, what the? Shoo, sis. You always get everything. Jake, the stable life, the good daughter label. But I deserve it more. This way, you get to see how the other half lives. Or, doesn't. The world tilted, colors bleeding into static. I felt my body seize, then release, like falling through a dream. When my vision cleared, I was staring at myself, my own face, pale and confused, blinking back at me from across the room. But the eyes, those were Emily's, cold and triumphant. What did you do? My voice, her voice, came out in a rasp, unfamiliar gravel where my smooth alto should have been. Swapped us, Zoe. Perfectly. Your body, my mind. My body, yours. By the time anyone notices, I'll be married to Jake, mom and dad's pride and joy. You'll be the unhinged sister they always suspected. Oh, and one more thing. She, in my skin, leaned in, whispering. That embezzlement charge at your firm? The one they pinned on you last month. That was me. Siphoned funds to my startup. You'll take the fall on my body. 5 years, easy. Poetic, right? Horror clawed up my throat. The missing money, the audits. I'd sworn I hadn't touched a dime, but the evidence was ironclad, my login, my approvals. She'd framed me, buried the secret under layers of her charm and my trust. And now this, a body swap straight out of some dystopian thriller, but real, courtesy of her venture capital-fueled mad science. I lunged, but she was faster, slamming a button on the box. Electricity crackled, and I convulsed, waking hours later in the trunk of my own car, parked in some industrial lot on the outskirts of the city. Rain still fell, seeping through the seams, soaking Emily's silk blouse clinging to her skin. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. Where are you? Party's winding down. Emily says you're not feeling well. Head home? Not feeling well. Understatement of the century. I clawed my way out, the lock popping with a desperate yank, and stumbled into the downpour. This body was wrong. Heavier in the hips, shorter stride, a faint ache in the knee from Emily's old soccer injury. But the worst was the mirror in a puddle, her face staring back, smudged makeup running like tears. Zoe was gone. Emily was wearing her like a costume. The drive back to our apartment was a blur of red lights and honking horns, my mind racing faster than the wipers could clear. Jake. He was waiting, probably with takeout and that goofy grin. How would I explain? Hey, babe, it's me, but in my sister's body. Surprise? I burst through the door, dripping, to find him on the couch, scrolling wedding Pinterest boards. He looked up, brow furrowing. Emily? What the hell? Zoe's not here. It's me. I blurted, voice cracking in her pitch. Jake, listen. Something insane happened. Emily. She swapped us. Drugged me, some tech bullshit. I'm Zoe. In her body. He laughed, short and disbelieving, standing up. Okay, funny. Where's Zoe really? This isn't cool. No. Jake, please. I grabbed his arm, feeling the unfamiliar strength in these hands, nails manicured to perfection. Call her. She's in my body. She'll answer as me. He pulled out his phone, dialing. It rang in the bedroom. My phone, left behind. He answered on speaker. Zoe? Babe. Hey, handsome. Came my voice, smooth and affectionate. Emily. Sorry I'm late. Client ran over. Emily stopped by, total surprise visit. She's crashing here tonight, girls' night, or whatever. Jake's eyes met mine, confusion deepening. Yeah? Cool. Love you. Love you more. Be home soon. The line clicked dead. He hung up, staring at me like I'd grown a second head. What the fuck is going on? I spilled it all, the housewarming, the basement, the syringe. The frame job. By the end, he was pacing, running hands through his hair. This is nuts. Body swaps? Like Freaky Friday on steroids? We need to go to the cops. And say what? My sister's a mad scientist who stole my life? They'll lock me up for the embezzlement before they believe a word. He stopped, cupping her face in his hands. Then what? We fight this. Together. But even as he said it, I saw the flicker in his eyes. Doubt. And worse, recognition. Emily's body was Kavya, her laugh lighter, her stories always more glamorous. How long before he forgot the woman inside? That night, I lay awake in the guest room, listening to me and Jake murmur in the bedroom. Laughter, then silence that twisted like a knife. Betrayal wasn't just Emily's. It was the universe's, stripping me bare. By morning, she'd posted on Instagram. A selfie in my dress, Jake's arm around me. Caption, pre-wedding bliss with my forever. Zoe and Jake milestone moment. Comments flooded in. Mom's heart emojis, friends congrats. My notifications? Radio silence, except for an anonymous tip to my work email. Check the ledgers, fraudster. You're done. Emily's power play was in full swing. She had the family, the fiancé, the clean slate. I had a stolen body and a burning need for payback. Revenge wasn't a choice. It was the only way back to myself. The first move was reconnaissance. I couldn't confront her head-on, not yet. So I played the part, the concerned sister, checking in. I drove to her, my office in the loop, the skyline mocking me with its indifferent gleam. The marketing firm was a glass tower of ambition, where I'd climbed to senior account exec through nights and grit. Now, I badged in with Emily's credentials she'd stupidly left in her purse, which I'd swiped from the apartment before she woke. Her desk was chaos. Prototype sketches for that neural tech, emails from VCs praising her innovative pivot. Buried in a drawer, a flash drive labeled Z Contingency. Plugged into her laptop, it spilled secrets. Transaction logs siphoning $200,000 from client accounts, routed to her startup shell company. The frame was meticulous, timestamps matching my logins, forged approvals with my digital signature. But the crown jewel, a video file. I hit play, heart slamming. It was me, drugged, limp in the basement, mumbling confessions as she prompted in a disguised voice. You stole the money, didn't you, Zoe? Say it. I'd slurred something incoherent, but edited clips made it damning. She'd planted this at the firm, ready to leak if I pushed back. Fury boiled, but I copied it all, then slipped out. Next, the family. I showed up at Mom and Dad's unannounced, the old brick bungalow in Oak Park smelling of pot roast and denial. Mom answered, wiping flour from her hands. Emily? What a surprise. Zoe's wedding was yesterday. Beautiful, but we missed it for your party. Hope you're not mad. Mad. I wanted to scream. Instead, I hugged her, inhaling the familiar lavender. Not at all, Mom. Actually, that's why I'm here. Zoe's acting strange. Like really off. Dad lumbered in from the garage, newspaper in hand. What's that girl done now? I spun a tale, Zoe confessing doubts about the marriage, hinting at cold feet, maybe even the money issues. She's unraveling, Dad. We need to stage an intervention. Their faces hardened with that protective ire they reserved for me, the screw-up. Always knew she was too flighty, Dad grumbled. That Jake's too good for her anyway. By evening, they'd texted Zoe, Emily, demanding a family meeting. Her response, panicked emojis, excuses. Perfect. The cracks were forming. But revenge demands risk, and mine started controversial. Jake. I couldn't lose him to her, not without a fight. That night, after she'd crashed again, claiming sisterly bonding, I waited until the apartment was dark. She snored softly in the master, my old spot. Jake tossed in the guest room beside me, guilt etched in his frown. Can't sleep? I whispered. He turned. I shadowed. This is messed up, Zoe. Whatever. I keep waiting for her to snap out of it. Make her jealous, I said, the words tasting like ash. It was dark, twisted, seduce my own fiancé in my sister's skin. But desperation breeds depravity. Kiss me, like you mean it. Show her you're mine. He hesitated, then pulled me close. His lips on hers, mine, were fire and familiarity, a spark that ignited memories of our bodies tangled in sheets. We didn't go further, that line was sacred. But the moan that escaped, her voice, my soul, echoed down the hall. Emily burst in minutes later, Zoe, in a silk slip, eyes blazing. What the hell? Jake pulled back, feigning confusion. We were just talking. Talking. She advanced, then froze, seeing the flash in my eyes. Recognition dawned, horror flickering. You bitch. You figured it out. The room exploded into chaos. Accusations, slaps, Jake dialing 911 before I could stop him. But she was slick, slipping into victim mode. She's crazy, Jake. Zoe's always hated me, framed me for her theft. Cops arrived, lights strobing the rain-slick street. Handcuffs clicked around my wrists, her wrists, as Emily wept crocodile tears in my body. She attacked me. I think she's on something. The station was a fluorescent hell, mugshot with her smug face, fingerprints that weren't mine. The detective, a jaded Chicago PD vet named Ruiz, leaned over the table. Embezzlement, assault. Your sister's pressing charges. And that video? It's airtight. I laughed, bitter. It's fake. All of it. Check the metadata. It's doctored. He shrugged. Lawyer up, sweetheart. Bail was set high, but Jake posted it. Eyes haunted. I believe you, but we need proof. We had the flash drive, hidden in a locker. A freelance hacker buddy from Jake's gaming nights cracked it wider. Not just the frame, but Emily's manifesto. Emails to a shady biotech firm, trading corporate secrets for the swap tech. She targeted me because I was in the way. Stable, loved, the daughter who didn't need her. Deeper, a buried family secret. Mom's affair, dad's infertility. Emily and I, half-sisters at best. I'd been the cuckoo, adopted quietly after mom's fling, the miracle baby that masked the lie. The twist hit like vertigo. All those years of favoritism. Not jealousy, guilt. They loved Emily more because she was blood. I was the stand-in, bearing their mistakes. Armed with this, I went nuclear. Leaked the files anonymously to the Chicago Tribune's tip line, then to Emily's VC backers. The story broke at dawn. Tech darling accused of fraud, body swap blackmail. Her startup tanked, investors fleeing like rats. The climax came at the family home, storm still raging. Emily arrived in my body, disheveled, parents flanking her like bodyguards. You ruined everything, she shrieked as I stepped from the shadows. Like you ruined me? I countered, voice steady in her timbre. The swap, the frame, the lies. And Mom, Dad, did you know? About the affair? That I'm not yours. Silence, then Mom's sob. We wanted to tell you. But Emily, she found out last year. Used it to manipulate us. The housewarming? She threatened to expose it if we didn't skip your wedding. Betrayal reversed. Their favoritism wasn't choice, but coercion. Emily's scheming ran deeper, a web of power plays. She lunged, but Jake tackled me, pinning until cops swarmed. The swap tech? Confiscated, experts confirming the neural hijack. Reversal took days in a lab, wires and nausea, but I woke in my skin, aching but whole. Emily, charged with fraud, assault, identity theft. 5 years, ironic echo of her plan. But the ending? Debatable. Jake stayed, but the trust scarred. Parents apologized in therapy, but family dinners taste like ash. I got my life back, but at what cost? Revenge tasted sweet, until you realize the poison lingers. Was it justice, or just another cycle of hurt? You tell me. The reversal wasn't the end. It was the spark that ignited the real inferno. Waking up in my own body felt like emerging from a drowning dream. Gasping, disoriented, every nerve firing with the wrongness of wires snaking across my temples. The lab in Evanston was sterile white, humming with monitors, and the low murmur of white-coated techs who treated me like a lab rat success story. Neural sync disengaged. One said, clipboard in hand. Welcome back, Miss Harper. Harper. My name. My voice croaked it out, testing the syllables like a foreign tongue. Jake was there, squeezing my hand, his face a map of exhaustion and relief. Zoe. Jesus, you're you. But was I? The mirror in the recovery room showed bruises blooming on my collarbone from the restraints, eyes hollowed by betrayal's weight. Emily's body had been a prison, but this one felt haunted, echoes of her malice clinging like cigarette smoke. We left under NDAs, the biotech firm eager to bury their prototypes, glitch. Emily was already in Cook County Jail, her bail revoked after the leaks hit. The Trib's headline screamed from newsstands, Sister Swap Scandal. Exec frames kin Ian high-tech heist. Pundits on Fox and CNN debated it like a Black Mirror episode. Ethics of neural tech, family dysfunction in the American dream. Social media exploded, body swap betrayal trending, memes of me as a vengeful ghost in sister's skin. Mom and Dad waited outside, huddled under umbrellas in the relentless drizzle. Dad's face was ashen, the heart meds not hiding the slump in his shoulders. Mom clutched a thermos of coffee, eyes red-rimmed. Zoe, baby, we're so sorry. I wanted to rage, to demand why they'd let it go this far. But exhaustion won. Drive me home. Then we talk. The ride back to Wicker Park was thick with silence, broken only by the slap of wipers and the radio's murmur about Cubs tickets. Jake filled the void with small talk. Our postponed wedding, rescheduled for fall, smaller now, just close friends. No family drama, he'd insisted. But family was the wound that wouldn't close. At the apartment, over lukewarm coffee, the truth unraveled fully. Mom started, voice trembling. The affair. It was one night, 28 years ago. Your father, Emily's father, was sterile from a war injury. I was lonely, scared. The man. He was a colleague, gone before I knew I was pregnant. We claimed you as ours, a miracle. But Emily found the adoption papers in my hope chest last year, during her divorce spiral. Dad nodded, gripping the mug like a lifeline. She confronted us. Said she'd go public unless we favored her. The housewarming? She manipulated the guilt. Said if we skipped your wedding, she'd forgive us, keep the secret. Forgive them, as if she were the god doling grace. And the swap. I pressed. You knew? No. Mom's denial cracked. She told us after, bragged, like it was a joke. Said it'd teach you humility. We begged her to stop, but she laughed. Called us weak. Weak. The word hung, indicting us all. I'd borne their mistake. The cuckoo in the nest, taking the blame for Emily's shadows. The embezzlement? She'd started small, testing my logins during sisterly visits, escalating when her startup bled cash. The crime was hers, the fall mine by design. Jake's hand on my knee grounded me. It's over. She's done. But revenge, true revenge, isn't a clean cut, it's a slow bleed. I nodded, but inside, plans fermented. Emily had stolen my body, my love, my name. I'd take her soul, piece by piece. First, the professional gutting. Her startup, Neuralink Innovations, was a house of cards. I'd leaked the flash drive selectively, full fraud docs to the SEC, but the manifesto, her ravings about deserving my life, to her inner circle. By Monday, board members resigned in droves. Her co-founder, a smarmy VC darling named Trent, texted her from a burner. You psycho. The body's fake, but the crazy's real. We're out. I watched from a coffee shop across from her old office, now picketed by laid-off coders chanting for justice. Emily's face, my old face, flashed on local news, disheveled in orange, denying it all. My sister's unstable. Always has been. Unstable. The irony burned. That night, I hacked her prison calls. Jake's gamer friend again, no questions asked. She ranted to her lawyer. Get me out. I'll pay double. Zoe set me up. She's the thief. The lawyer, a sleazy loop fixture, smelled blood. He flipped, cutting a deal. Testify against her for immunity on accessory charges. Turns out, he'd known about the tech trades. Controversy brewed. Online forums lit up. Is Zoe the real villain? Framing her own blood? A podcaster called it the ultimate family takedown, interviewing experts on sibling rivalry in corporate America. Protests outside the jail, feminists decrying the catfight narrative, tech bros mourning lost funding. I read it all in bed, Jake asleep beside me, his snores a reminder of what I'd almost lost. The decision that haunted me? Visiting her. Solitary, no contact turned contact after my lawyer pulled strings. The visiting room was cinder-block drab, fluorescent, buzz like angry bees. She shuffled in, jumpsuit baggy on my frame, hair greasy, eyes wild. Sis, she sneered, picking at a nail. Come to gloat. I leaned forward, voice low. To end it. Confess. The swap, the frame, the blackmail on mom and dad. Full truth, on record. She laughed, a hollow bark. Why? So you can sleep at night, Saint Zoe? You think you're better? That adoption secret? Mom whispered it to me as a kid. Said you were a mistake we fixed. I just made it right. Her words sliced, reopening the adoption scar. Mistake. Fixed. But I held steady. Confess. Or I released the unedited video. You drugging me. The prompts. Your voice modulator fails under scrutiny. You'll rot here forever. Bluff, half true. The hacker had scrubbed it clean, but she didn't know. Sweat beaded on my forehead, hers. You wouldn't. Family. Fuck family. I whispered, the words venomous. Controversial? Hell yes. But she'd taught me, mercy is for the unbroken. She cracked, signing the affidavit in tears. I hated you. Always had more. love, stability. I deserved it. Signed, sealed. The DA's office cheered. Her plea deal sweetened to 20 years. But the twist, the real reversal, came unbidden. A letter from Mom, post-reversal. Enclosed, my birth certificate, the father's name blank, but a DNA test she'd run secretly. Matched to Dad. The affair? A lie Emily fabricated from half-heard whispers, amplified in her paranoia. I wasn't adopted. She was the cuckoo, her bio dad the sterile myth she'd twisted. Truth inverted. All her schemes, built on sand. Mom's note. We love you both, but she broke us. Forgive if you can. Forgive? The word tasted like bile. I burned the letter, ashes scattering in the wind off Lake Michigan. The wedding went on. Simple, lakeside, under a harvest moon. Jake in a linen suit, me in ivory lace that hid the scars. Vows exchanged with salt on our lips from tears. No parents. They watched via Zoom from a therapist's office, their apologies a footnote. Happily ever after? Debatable. Jake's touches sometimes falter, ghosting Emily's form. I wake screaming from dreams of her eyes and mine. Revenge won the war, but the battles echo. And Emily? She rots, writing letters I don't read. Is it justice, or just vengeance's hollow echo? In America, where dreams swap bodies overnight, who's to say? Months blurred into a fragile normalcy, the kind stitched from therapy sessions and forced smiles, but the undercurrent of darkness never fully receded. Chicago winters hit hard that year, blizzards burying the city in white silence, mirroring the frost in my veins. Jake and I threw ourselves into work. He landed a promotion at the ad agency, pitching campaigns for electric vehicles that promised escape. While I clawed back my role at the firm, the embezzlement charges dropped amid the scandal's fallout. Colleagues whispered behind cupped hands, the body swap survivor. I wore it like armor, but it chafed. Emily's trial dominated spring headlines, a media circus of Silicon Valley schadenfreude. Court TV streamed it live, her in my old sundress, irony's cruel nod, testifying in a voice that was mine, but laced with her venom. Zoe orchestrated it all, she'd claim, eyes darting to the jury like a cornered fox. But the evidence mounted, the flash drive forensics, the lawyer's flip, the neurologs timestamped to her basement server. Her manifesto, that damning digital diary, painted her as a Machiavellian puppeteer, pulling strings on family, finances, flesh. The prosecution called me as a witness, and stepping into that mahogany-paneled courtroom felt like walking a tightrope over abyss. Flashbulbs popped like gunfire, reporters shouting, "Ms. Harper, did you seduce your fiancé in your sister's body?" Controversial leaks, my doing, whispered to a blogger for leverage, had twisted the narrative, painting me as the seductress, not the survivor. Debatable heroism, sure, but it kept the pressure on her. I took the stand, heart thundering, and locked eyes with her across the room. She looked small, deflated, the power suit hanging loose. "Ms. Harper," the DA intoned, described the swap. Voice steady, I recounted the basement, the syringe, the awakening in the trunk. Gasps rippled through the gallery. Then the cross-exam. Her attorney, a silver-tongued shark, leaned in. "And you admit to intimate contact with Mr. Ellis while in Ms. Harper's, your sister's, body? Isn't that revenge porn in disguise?" Objection sustained, but the seed planted. Jury murmurs, tabloid fodder. I shot back, off mic. "It was survival. You stole my life. I took back a piece." Verdict, guilty on all counts. 25 years, no parole. She screamed as they led her away. "You won, Zoe. But you'll always be the mistake." Echoing the lie she'd built her empire on. Outside, protesters clashed. Women's groups hailing me as a Me Too icon for tech abuse, and Kells decrying feminazi family destruction. I slipped through the scrum, Jake's hand in mine, to a waiting car. "It's done," he said. Done? The word mocked. That night, over whiskey neat at our favorite dive in Logan Square, neon signs flickering like faulty synapses, I confessed the hauntings. I see her in mirrors sometimes. Wonder if I went too far. The leaks, the seduction ploy. Was I the monster? He swirled his glass, ice clinking. "You fought fire with fire. America's all about that. Eye for an eye, until the whole world's blind." American indeed. Land of second chances for the privileged, vendettas for the rest. We'd postponed the wedding again, opting for a quiet elopement in the Smoky Mountains, trading windy city drama for Appalachian quiet. But even there, under star-pricked skies, vows felt tentative. In sickness and health, swaps and schemes, Jake joked, but his eyes held shadows. The final twist slithered in summer, a manila envelope unmarked on our doorstep. Inside, a paternity test, commissioned by Emily's appeals lawyer. Results: 99.9% match to dad. The affair? Fabricated. Mom's confession under duress during Emily's blackmail phase. A coerced script to fuel her narrative. I'd confronted Mom post-trial. She wept, admitting the ploy. She made me say it, Zoe. To break you. You're ours, all the way. Truth reversed again. No cuckoo, just a daughter's descent into delusion. Emily's schemes weren't born of blood rejection, but pure envy. A golden child rotting from within, convinced the world owed her my scraps. I visited her once more, in the gray sprawl of Logan Correctional, plexiglass between us like judgment's veil. She looked aged, lines etching my old face prematurely. Read the test, I asked, sliding the paper under the partition. Her laugh was brittle. Doesn't matter. You still destroyed me. No, you did that. But this ends now. I leaned close. Right here knowing, I pity you. The real mistake was letting you in. I walked out into blinding sun, chains of grudge loosening. Forgiveness? Not yet. But release, yes. Epilogues debatable. Jake and I thrive. Aloft in Pilsen now. Baby on the way. Irony's gift, a new life from ashes. Parents mend fences. Weekly brunches sand skeletons. Emily writes from her cell. Please for contact I archive unread. Happy? Tragic? In the heartland's harsh light, it's both. Revenge's double-edged blade, cutting deep but freeing deeper. What would you choose? Swallow the poison or spit it back? That's the American question, isn't it? The one that keeps us up, staring into the dark.